I first off just want to thank everyone for being here, and a huge thank you to AmeriCorps Vista volunteers for helping out today. Without them, I think everyone would have been really lost. So thank you guys, AmeriCorps volunteers. I also want to thank my ABQ volunteer board for supporting me and supporting the mission that we have in volunteerism, and they're here to my left. So thank you guys very much for all your support. And if you're taking pictures today, we're using the hashtag #Mayors4Service. And I have our Mayor's Youth Council here to the right, tweeting, doing Facebook and Instagram, and all that good stuff. So it is my honor right now to introduce Mayor Richard J. Berry.
Well, how's everybody doing? I just want to say that I am so proud of our community and the work that you're doing. The fact this is our second annual Mayor's Day of Recognition for National Service, and today there are over 1,700 mayors, just like myself, standing up in front of their communities and delivering the same message. And that's why we do this. That's why we have a national network of mayors championing your work, is because you make a difference in our communities. We would not have the wonderful place that we live without you. And you are the glue that holds together a lot of what we do in our community. And if I asked each and every one of you here what it is that you do to make our community special, what you do to make Albuquerque a place where people just love to be, love to live, to raise our families, to start businesses, and just to thrive, each one of you would have a little bit different story. And some of you would have quite a bit different stories to tell us. Well, one of the things that would happen with all those stories is they would come together for what we call collective impact. What does that mean? That means that each and every one of us has our work to do. As my Aunt Nellie would say, and we lost Aunt Nellie when she's 104, she would say, many hands make light work. And that was kind of a Nebraska colloquialism that she would use, and I think that's we talk about in New Mexico even today. But that's what you're doing. You are many hands making light work. But I think you would also testify to the fact that it's not always light work. A lot of it's hard work, and it's time away from your families. It's time away from other things that you could be doing to give back. And so your servant's heart is what makes this so special, and it's why I'm so proud to be here today. The monetary value, of course, is enormous. Folks will put dollar amounts on volunteerism, and in New Mexico, on a per-hour basis, just on a per-hour basis, each time you go out and spend an hour, it's $17.62. Okay, well, that's a number. But if you take that collectively and add it up across New Mexico and in the city of Albuquerque, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars. But what it is more than just that, it's opportunities. It's opportunities for someone to have a better life, to have better opportunities, to be able to manage their circumstances better than they would have if you weren't doing what you're doing. And we're going to have a story here in just a little bit by Lindsay Cutler, who is a AmeriCorps Vista leader with the YDI Family Connections Vista program. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about her impact of volunteerism and how it's affected her personally. But before I do that, I want to thank our sponsors, because we wouldn't be here today if we didn't have corporate citizens in our community that were willing to step up and put some of their resources to match with your time and your talent and your energy to do these great things. So we have New Mexico Educators Federal Credit Union has helped us out today. Let's give them a round of applause. Wells Fargo is here with us today. Thank you, Wells Fargo. Our friends at Sandia National Labs, who do so much for national security, but also give so much back to our community. Thank you so much. P&M, who's been there with me as a mayor many, many steps along the way as well to really make Albuquerque a special place. P&M, thank you. Leading Edge Voice and Data Communications, thank you so much. And Coca-Cola is here for the second year in a row providing us refreshments. Thank you, Coca-Cola. And last but certainly not least, let's thank Chick-fil-A for lunch. I see the cow back here. Chick-fil-A. Yeah, eat more chicken, it says on his back. Great ad campaign. So I would like to actually read a proclamation before I bring Lindsay up, and I'm going to ask Leslie to run that up to me. Thank you. I mean, you have a proclamation as well. So the way this works is we have a proclamation that we put together from the city of Albuquerque that we're going to present today. And then we have the guy that just turned 50 version with the bigger letters that I will read. And it reads as follows. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges. And whereas the nation's mayors are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet city needs. And whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps address the most pressing challenges facing our cities and nation, from educating our students for the jobs of the 21st century and supporting veterans and military families to preserving the environment and helping communities recover from natural disasters. And whereas service expands economic opportunity by creating more sustainable, resilient communities and providing education, career skills, and leadership abilities for those who serve. And whereas service participants serve in more than 70,000 locations across the country, bolstering the civic, neighborhood, and faith-based organizations that are so vital to our economic and social well-being. And whereas national service participants increase the impact of the organizations that they serve with both their direct service and by recruiting and managing millions of additional volunteers. And whereas national service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions and leverages non-federal resources to strengthen community impact and increase the return on taxpayer dollars. And whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service shares a priority with mayors nationwide to engage citizens, to improve lives, and strengthen communities, and is joined with mayors across the country today to support the National Mayor's Day of Recognition for National Service on April 1st, 2014, I, Richard J. Berry, Mayor of the City of Albuquerque, do hereby proclaim April 1st, 2014 as Mayor's Day of Recognition for National Service. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Okay. So much. Thank you again, everybody. And now I'm going to bring up our special guest today, Lindsay Cutler. As I said earlier, Lindsay is with AmeriCorps Vista. She's a leader with the YDI Family Connections, which is a Vista program. And she's going to speak to us briefly on how volunteerism has impacted her as she does her best to impact our community. Lindsay?
Thank you, Mary Bear. When I was asked to speak about AmeriCorps Vista at the Mayor's Day of Service, I was flattered. And then reality set in, and I realized that speaking about volunteering to a room full of dedicated volunteers was perhaps more difficult of a volunteer opportunity than I had anticipated volunteering for. My name is Lindsay Cutler, and I am the Vista leader for the YDI Family Connections Vista project. Vista, for those of you who are unfamiliar, stands for Volunteers in Service to America. Founded as essentially the domestic Peace Corps, Vista was designed to combat poverty and build sustainable communities at home in the United States. AmeriCorps Vista members are behind the front lines, serving indirectly to create lasting change beyond their single year of service. I have been enveloped into the service world in the last several years, and to be honest, I find it's often easy to forget that I'm a volunteer. I get to the wool warehouse at 8 a.m. most mornings, go home by 5 or often after, and get up to do it the next day. But every once in a while, someone asks what it is that I do and why it is that I do it. I wish my answer was as eloquent as I imagine it to be in my head, that I'd chosen to give a year and then another year of my life in service to this community that somewhere along the line had adopted me. Why I chose Vista and what being a Vista means to me. In 140 characters or less, Mayor's Day of Service, I moved to New Mexico to join AmeriCorps because I wanted to get into social justice on the ground floor. My first year I served in the Laguna Pueblo as the middle school family engagement coordinator. I was in a new state, a completely new community, and completely and totally out of my element. And as I worked diligently to plan family events and activities and partner with community organizations, nothing ever seemed to go as planned. Just when I thought I had it all figured out, I'd learn something new and everything would change. It was like constantly being doused with a victory cooler of Gatorade, except it didn't seem like a victory party, and instead of Gatorade, it was cool, refreshing humility. The greatest, most humbling words of wisdom ever passed down to me on the great art of volunteerism were given to me midway through my first year with Vista. A professor at UNM told me at a point where I needed a bit of a boost, "You will never truly make a difference until you accept that the people whom you serve may give you more than you could ever give them." I looked back on my year in Laguna, and I realized that the students, families, and community gave me so much more than all the volunteer hours in the world could have ever given them. I learned about the power and strength of family, about being open and accepting strangers, and about the importance of slowing down to stop talking and just listen. It was that constantly challenging and humbling learning experience serving as a YDI Vista my first year that led me to the unthinkable, the second service year. When Youth Development Incorporated expanded the Family Connections Project to 11 APS schools this August, I transitioned over as the Vista leader. Through community schools partnerships and 21st century after school programs, our Vistas work to serve New Mexico families. Through workshops, leadership opportunities, service brokering, and so much more, my Vistas work diligently with these students and families every day. And as for my role, my work is now about volunteering for the volunteers. As the seasoned veteran, I thought that this time I had it covered. I knew what family engagement and capacity building meant. And then came that Gatorade cooler with another chilling dose of humility. I have a team as diverse as I could possibly imagine. From educators to a chef, a rock star and a businessman, even a cheerleader, my Vista team has taken what I thought it meant to serve families and completely redefined it. You all have taught me that family engagement can mean capoeira, it's Brazilian martial arts, a school-run food pantry, watchdogs, dads of great students, or perhaps most simply and most powerfully, calling a local business to help a family put antifreeze in their car and get back on their feet. I look to you all, to my Vista team, and to all the volunteers in this room, and you remind me once again what service is. Once again, you have given me more, taught me more than I could have ever taught you. Volunteers, I know that day to day it's often difficult to see the difference that you make. For my Vistas, when a school is overwhelmed with testing and evaluations, and you take the time to talk to that family about what's going on at home, you do make an impact. You show empathy and compassion as you fulfill roles that would otherwise remain vacant. When you host a family literacy night, you invite families to be a part of their child's life in a way that they are often left out of. When you organize a school cleanup, you bring people together and make our communities better places to live in. And yes, it may be difficult to see the small differences that you make, but those small movements build to valuable change. And your actions, your heart, and your passions are contagious. Your ability to dream big reminds us all why we do the work that we do, and your idealism helps us see our future in a new and promising light. On a day like this, we take the time to recognize the selfless work that volunteers in this city do. You give back to our Albuquerque communities, you serve others, you preserve and conserve the environment around us, you dedicate yourselves to making an impact, and you are daily the change we all wish to see in the world. Thank you, volunteers, for all that you do for Albuquerque, for all that you give, and for all the ways you help make our community stronger.
Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I know, as I said earlier, we all have a story to tell, and I want to thank each and every one of you again. I also want to thank Michael Garcia from the Corporation for National and Community Service. I just saw him a few minutes ago. There he is. He's always been so helpful. Thank you so much. And of course, we don't have things like this happen if we don't have folks in my office that help out. So I want to thank Leslie Munoz for really spearheading this. Elias Gallegos, who will be helping us here briefly with our awards. And we have a really robust internship program in the mayor's office that we've really tried to build up to bring up that next generation of leaders. And I want to thank Rhiannon Schroeder, who is with us today, Emily Larson, and Maria Rodriguez. They are interns with my office, and they put a lot of work into this as well. So thank you, ladies. So I know we have some awards to do, and I'll be here for that. Well, once again, thank you so much for all you do for Albuquerque. You make it special, and you make people's lives better. So thank you again.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Mayor. My name is Elias Gallegos, and I'll be getting the party started, so to speak. Let's let the award ceremony portion begin. I'll be announcing the individual nominees first, and then after that I'll announce the group volunteers. But first, I'll start with the individual nominees. Our first nominee is Amarissa Barboa. Come on up to receive your awards, please. Mildred Greify. Our next nominee, Sarah Barba. Andres Ramirez. Ken Zolaz. Joyce Spinden. Mr. Josh Speakman. Stephanie Lieberman. Caleb Cruz. Where's Tuxedo? Jasmine Sims. Miss Carol Sanchez. Terry Laley. Rudy Sanchez. Mr. Charlie Wood. Jenny Barton. Diane Luther. Bill Finch. Amy Parkman. Catherine Erickson. Justina LePay. Juanita M. Sanchez. Dante Smith. Mary Bogunowicz. Bokanjefich. My apologies. Rosemary Ojeda. Vera Valles. Vicky Baxley. Jerry Bach. Mr. Mark Steele. David Sanchez. Violet Frazier. Shelly Padilla. Mr. John Adams. Michael New. Steve Davis. Howard Henry. Hazel Sanchez. Christopher Salas. Barbara Michaels. Jan Fike. William L. Gupton IV. Gupton. Tammy Olson. Paul Castor. Darren Beatty. Salvador Rodriguez. Cheryl Martinez. Terry Hanna. Tara Fender. John Fender. William Balk. Sandra Scott. Brianna Swinderman. Angelita Salas. Angelica Malero. Larry Musson. Jenny Barton. If I may get a round of applause for all our individual nominees. At this time, I'll begin reading our group nominees. Love in the Name of Christ, Incorporated. U.S. New Mexico Federal Credit Union Community Involvement Committee. Catholic Charities Senior Transportation Service.
I'm gonna get off on the side.
Sandia. A round of applause for State Representative Larry Larrañaga. Thank you for being here, sir. Next, I'd like to congratulate Sandia National Laboratories. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Mexico. ASUNM Community Experience. Tierra Antigua Parent-Teacher Association. Project Peace Pal. Albuquerque Senior Companion Program. Fidelity Investments. Albuquerque Meals on Wheels.
Hold on for Meals on Wheels. So let's just see the companions first.
Okay. Thank you. Come on, everybody.
Thank you for being here, folks.
Thank you.
One more try. Albuquerque Meals on Wheels. Southwest Airlines. You are now free to move about the convention center. CCB Cibola Community Builders. Risen Music Ministry, the Freedom in Music Project. I do have in front of me two more individual nominees. Ms. Sarah Routen. This certificate of appreciation goes to Marvin D. Taylor from the Albuquerque Stroke Club. At this time, Mrs. Leslie Munoz will announce our winners. Leslie?
Hello. Okay, so first I have the Corporate Star of the Year goes to Sandia National Laboratories. They're committed to our community and have served over 60 years. They have given back programs from Shoes for Kids, which provide a new pair of shoes to more than 500 each October. Albuquerque children. Annually, they participate in Bring a Turkey to Work Day for more than 500 foster children. Each October, more than 200 employees join the community to complete projects for local nonprofits. Sandia has completed 13 Habitat for Humanity homes for deserving families in the Albuquerque area. A special group of Sandia are dedicated to Project Linus, making hundreds of blankets for traumatized children and young adults. More than 500 Sandians volunteer as classroom presenters, tutors, and mentors in local schools each year. And this is why Sandia National Laboratories is Corporate Star of the Year. Okay, next we have a Rising Star of the Year. Sarah Roughton has been involved in all areas of the Roadrunner Food Bank. She is so dedicated to what the mission of the Roadrunner Food Bank stands for. At 17 years old, Sarah is the youngest Roadrunner ambassador. This is someone who dedicates their time regularly and can help volunteers carry out tasks. Sarah has devoted 335 hours in 2013 and continues to be a valuable asset as a volunteer. Sarah is dedicated to volunteering and helping end hunger in New Mexico, and this is why she is the Rising Star of the Year in volunteerism. Okay, two more. This next one is our Group Volunteer of the Year, Catholic Charities Senior Transportation Services. They serve seniors 60 years and up. They support homebound seniors who are no longer able to drive, isolated, and homebound. They meet ride requests as early as 6 a.m. and as late as necessary. Volunteer drivers are required to use their own vehicles to provide this service. Catholic Charities has supported over 2,600 hours and provided 1,000 rides to seniors in our community. For seniors who may not have families, it brings companionship and empowers one to lead a productive, independent life. And this is why Catholic Charities Senior Transportation Service is our Group Volunteer of the Year. Two more. Thank you, guys. And last but not least, we have our Volunteer of the Year, Marvin Taylor. Marvin Taylor, in 1991, Marvin began using his own vehicle to transport stroke survivors to meetings, events, and activities of the Albuquerque Stroke Club. He continued this service to each member for 20 years. While in a wheelchair himself, with one-sided weakness, speech and hearing difficulties, and vision in only one eye, all a result from his stroke. Marvin stepped up when he was needed to serve on a board of directors and did this for 6 separate 2-year terms and is currently serving another one. In spite of all his handicaps, he has also taken on the task of editor of the Albuquerque Stroke Club 8 to 12 page monthly newsletter. The list goes on for Marvin. I didn't have enough pages, but you can see his bio in the back at the Stroke Club table of everything that Marvin has done. It's exceptional. Marvin has now has been a living example for the club motto of helping others help themselves. Marvin's philosophy is, there is life after stroke, so don't just sit home and feel sorry for yourself. He is a true inspiration to stroke survivors, and this is why Marvin Taylor is our Volunteer of the Year.
If you don't have a smile on your face now, I don't know what we can do for you. What a humbling thing for a mayor to be part of this and see everybody get their awards and really just participate in making this a great city. I'm awfully proud of all of you, and we just appreciate you coming again. And spread the word to your friends and family. The more volunteers we have, the better. And you're great shining examples of what that looks like, and human spirit and just all that goes with that. So God bless each and every one of you, and thank you for what you do. And we will see you next year at the next annual Mayor's Day for Volunteer Recognition. Thank you again.